Rain slicked the metal rooftop of the small-town mall, turning it into a mirror of gray, trembling clouds. Officer Liam Reyes K-9 Titan sat rigid, ears pricked, refusing to budge despite Liam's urgent calls. Something unseen had pulled the dog to the edge, his low growl vibrating through the night air. Below, the flickering neon lights of the deserted streets reflected nothing but emptiness. Yet Titan's gaze was fixed on a vent half hidden by rusted pipes. Liam's stomach clenched. He knew instinctively that whatever was inside wasn't alive, or if it was waiting for them. If you enjoy suspenseful cinematic stories like this, consider liking and subscribing for more gripping thrillers. The wind cut across the mall rooftop like a knife, carrying the faint metallic tang of rain and the acrid smell of rusted vents. Officer Liam Reyes hugged his jacket tighter, shivering despite the adrenaline pulsing through his veins. Titan, his K-9 partner, crouched low, hackles raised, eyes locked on the vent at the far corner. Liam's breath formed clouds in the chill night air, each exhale a fragile signal of life in the darkness. "Come on, boy," Liam muttered, voice rough from anxiety. "We need to get down." Titan's growl deepened, vibrating through Liam's chest. The dog had never hesitated like this before. Not in a chase. Not when a suspect ran. Not even during the time Liam had faced down a drunk driver wielding a baseball bat. This was different. This was fear or warning. Below, the streets of Hollow Ridge stretched empty, neon signs flickering over puddles, their reflections quivering in the drizzle. The mall's parking lot was nearly barren, save for a lone patrol cruiser and a delivery truck whose driver had long since disappeared into the storm. Liam's phone buzzed, a text from dispatch. All units accounted for. Any movement inside the mall? He ignored it. There was no time. Titan's body tensed like a spring about to snap. Liam's eyes followed the dog's gaze to the vent. It wasn't large, barely wide enough for Titan's snout, yet something emanated from it. A presence, a weight, a suffocating stillness that pressed on Liam's chest. He crept closer, careful not to spook Titan, and squatted beside the vent. Rust flakes crunched under his knees, water dripping from the gutter above. "All right, what do we have here?" His voice wavered, betraying the unease he usually masked behind authority. Titan's growl cut him off, low and throaty, vibrating through the air like a warning bell. Liam reached for the vent cover. It resisted at first, then gave with a groan, revealing a darkness that smelled of mold and something else. Something sour, metallic, and deeply wrong. His flashlight barely pierced the blackness, catching the glint of something wet inside. He froze. Titan's ears flicked back. The dog's tail stiffened. Liam's heart hammered. "Dispatch!" He whispered into his radio. "I'm on the rooftop vent inspection, proceeding cautiously." Static replied. A muffled voice. "Copy that. Back up, ETA 10 minutes. 10 minutes felt like 10 lifetimes. Liam dropped to his stomach, inching closer. The vent was narrow, the metal cold and jagged against his fingers. He could see a shadow at the far end, something small but unmistakably moving. Not a rat. Too deliberate. Too human. "Titan," Liam hissed. "Stay." The dog didn't move. His growl was now a warning and a plea. Something about the vent had the animal rooted in place. Defiant, protective. Liam swallowed hard and reached inside. The air was wet, stagnant, carrying the faint copper scent of blood. His fingers brushed against fabric, coarse, torn, and a pulse of panic shot through him. "Hello?" Liam's voice was a fragile whisper. No reply. He strained his eyes, trying to see past the black. A hand shot out from the darkness, gripping his wrist with surprising strength. Liam yelped, stumbling back. Titan lunged, teeth bared, a warning snarl that rattled the very metal of the rooftop. Then came a voice, so small and trembling it almost didn't register. Please help me." Liam froze. It was a child. The realization hit him in a wave of icy dread. Hollow Ridge's mall had been abandoned for months, supposedly empty, and yet someone had been trapped or hiding. Inside, their presence concealed beneath the grime and shadows of the old ventilation system. He reached in again, cautiously, and felt the fabric of a small jacket. The fingers gripping his were pale, shaking. He tugged gently, guiding the child out of the vent. Titan stayed close, body tense, ready to defend. The child emerged finally, soaked and trembling, face streaked with dirt and tears. Who are you?" Liam asked softly, kneeling to meet the child's gaze. "Alila," the girl whispered. They said I couldn't leave." Liam's stomach turned. The voice was small, broken, but edged with the steel that suggested the child had endured more than fear alone. Titan nuzzled the girl cautiously, growls subsiding into a low, protective rumble. "All right, Lila," Liam said, keeping his tone calm. "You're safe now. I'm going to get you off this roof, okay?" The girl nodded, eyes wide with fear and trust in equal measure. Liam lifted her gently, careful not to jostle her too much. Titan stayed close, growling at the shadows as if warning them off. The descent to the stairwell was slow. Every step creaked, echoing through the empty corridors of the mall. The fluorescent lights flickered intermittently, casting long, twitching shadows on the walls. Liam's pulse raced, not from physical exertion, but from the mounting dread. Whoever had trapped Lila, whoever had forced her into the vent, was still somewhere inside. Halfway down, Liam's radio crackled. Backup had arrived. Officers' boots echoed behind him, a chorus of authority and caution. Yet, none of them seemed to notice the subtle changes in the shadows, the way the darkness seemed heavier near the old service elevators. Lila clung to Liam, shivering. They watch," she whispered. "What do you mean?" Liam asked, keeping his voice soft. People," she said, voice trembling. "In the vents. They don't want anyone to find me." The words made Liam's stomach drop. Vents. Plural. Hidden watchers. The mall, abandoned on the surface, was far from empty. They reached the lobby. Backup officers surrounded them, flashlights cutting through the gloom. Liam set Lila down, and she immediately pressed against Titan, who licked her cheek as if reassuring her he was still there. Liam scanned the area. Nothing overtly threatening, but the air was thick with unease, with the kind of quiet that wasn't silence. It was waiting. He knew, instinctively, that this was just the beginning. A small, folded note slipped from Lila's jacket pocket as she huddled against Titan. Liam picked it up. The handwriting was childlike but precise. "Do not trust the gray man. He watches from above." Liam's eyes flicked to the stairwell, then to the rooftop. Gray man. Above. And Titan refused to leave. Even with Lila safe, the dog stand said it all. Something unseen was still out there. Something that wouldn't let them leave the mall without answers. Liam's jaw tightened. He had a decision to make. Descend into the unknown, into vents crawling with watchers, or retreat and risk leaving Lila in danger. He glanced at the girl, then at Titan. The dog's unwavering gaze was enough. "Okay, Titan," Liam whispered. "Let's see what's really up there." Thunder rumbled outside, the storm intensifying. Lightning flashed, illuminating the vent above, and for a moment, Liam thought he saw movement. A shadow, shaped almost like a man, disappearing into the metal maze. The chase had begun, and Hollow Ridge's dark secrets were just waiting to be pulled into the light. The vent system of the mall was a labyrinth, a metallic warren that smelled of rust, damp insulation, and something fouler beneath it all. Liam Reyes crawled on hands and knees, the beam of his flashlight bouncing across jagged edges, reflecting off twisted metal ducts. Titan padded beside him, low growl rumbling, ears pricked, every step cautious. Lila clutched the dog's fur, trembling, her small body pressed against the comforting heat of his flank. The first few minutes were deceptive. The vents echoed their movements, amplifying each creak and drip, making the shadows dance with a life of their own. Liam's pulse pounded. He hated the claustrophobia, the metal pressing in, the knowledge that if the wrong step was taken, they could be trapped, stuck, or worse. Yet Lila's whispering fear kept him moving. "They're here," she murmured, voice barely audible. "The gray man. He follows." Liam froze. "The gray man?" She nodded, wide-eyed, and whispered, "Always watching. In the vents. Above the floors. He doesn't let anyone leave. Titan growled low and fierce, spinning his head toward the source of sound before Liam even realized it. A scraping echo answered them somewhere ahead, too deliberate to be the building settling in the storm. "Stay close to me," Liam whispered to Lila, keeping his flashlight sweeping across the metal maze. "Titan, stay between us and anything that moves." The air grew warmer, sticky with humidity, yet heavier than it should have been. Liam realized with a sinking gut that the gray man wasn't just a rumor. Someone or something had turned this abandoned mall into a predator's den. The walls themselves seemed to lean in, dark and oppressive, making every breath feel contaminated. Every sound amplified into threat. A metallic clatter echoed ahead. Titan's hackle spiked. Lila whimpered, clutching the dog's fur tighter. Liam's hand brushed against a sharp, wet streak along the duct, a smear of something dark. Copper. Blood. He swallowed, forcing his voice calm. "It's okay, Lila. I've got you. Titan's got you." But the dog's gaze stayed fixed ahead, tense, trembling slightly. Liam realized Titan wasn't just protecting Lila. He was preparing to confront something far more dangerous. They moved forward, following a narrow shaft that curved like a serpent. Lightning struck outside, sending a jolt of white through the slits in the duct. In that moment, Liam glimpsed a figure, tall, thin, wrapped in gray clothing, perched in a vent above, watching silent. The gray man. Lila screamed, but Titan leapt forward, teeth bared, growling with an intensity that made Liam's chest tighten. The figure vanished into another vent shaft, impossibly fast, leaving only the echo of its movement. Liam paused, catching his breath. "Did you see that?" he asked Lila, voice trembling. She nodded frantically. "He's always above, watching. He's mean." They pressed on. Every turn, every shaft was another test. Small metal platforms wobbled under Liam's weight. Rusted screws threatened to puncture skin, but the sense of being hunted never left them. The gray man was there, always just ahead or above, a predator playing with his prey. The first real clue came when Titan stopped suddenly, growling low, nose twitching in the darkness. Liam froze. Ahead, a section of vent had been tampered with, jagged edges cut cleanly, not by rust or time, but by deliberate hands. A metal clip dangled. Inside, hidden in shadows, were scraps of cloth, Lila's jacket torn, along with other fragments, an old shoe, a doll's hair ribbon. Liam's stomach turned. The gray man had been here before. He'd been hunting or collecting, or both, and he had used the vents to do it. They take kids, Lila whispered. Her voice cracked, and Liam's heart sank. I saw him. Other kids. They're in there, waiting. Titan growled louder, moving to stand protectively in front of Lila. Liam's jaw clenched. Not on my watch, he muttered. They crawled further, the ducts narrowing, forcing them to squeeze through like prisoners. Each step revealed more signs of habitation. A small makeshift bed of tattered blankets, scribbles on the metal walls in charcoal or dirt, faint scratches that looked like desperate warnings. And then they heard it, a soft, low moan from deeper inside. Liam froze, listening. The sound was human, fragile, someone crying, whispering for help. He motioned for Titan to stay calm. The dog's ears twitched, but his body remained rigid, alert. Lila, Liam whispered, you can stay close to me, all right? We're going to find them. We're going to get them out. The girl nodded, tears streaking down her cheeks, and buried herself against Titan's fur. The moaning grew louder as they approached a vent junction, where multiple shafts converged into a maze of darkness. Liam's flashlight caught movement. Shadowy shapes slinking across the walls, impossibly agile. The gray man. His eyes glinted in the faint light, and Liam saw something else. Another child, crouched and trembling, bound lightly, fear etched in every line of their face. Let them go, Liam shouted, his voice echoing through the metal corridors. The gray man tilted his head, expression unreadable beneath the hood. For a moment, there was silence. Then came a low chuckle, hollow without humor. You're not leaving, the man said softly, voice gravelly, almost intimate. Not until they're ready. Titan lunged, snarling, but the gray man moved with inhuman speed, disappearing into another shaft. A metallic clatter followed, and the boy screamed. Lila shrieked in terror. Liam cursed under his breath and took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. "Titan, we move," he whispered. "We save them. All of them." The next section of the vents was narrower, darker, and smelled worse. Stench of decay and damp metal mixing with something Liam couldn't identify. He pushed forward, heart hammering, aware that time was running out. The gray man had the advantage of the maze. He could strike and vanish before Liam could even react. They reached a junction where the moaning grew frantic. Liam peered inside. A small chamber, crudely constructed with metal scraps and duct tape, held 3 children, their clothes torn, eyes wide with terror. One of them reached out blindly as Liam entered. "Easy," Liam whispered, kneeling. "You're safe now." Titan barked, low and menacing, warning of the gray man lurking just beyond. Liam felt the dog's tension, understood it instinctively. He could see the faint movement in the shadows, the gray man observing, waiting for the right moment to strike. "Come on," Liam said, guiding the children carefully. Lila clung to Titan's side. "We're getting out of here." And then the gray man made his move. From above, a vent panel ripped free, crashing down near Liam's feet. Titan growled and lunged, teeth snapping. The gray man vanished again into the shadows, but not before leaving a message, scratched into the metal walls. "You cannot save them all." Liam's heart sank. The moral weight hit him. This wasn't just a rescue. This was a game, and the gray man was a predator who thrived on fear, control, and manipulation. The betrayal was palpable. The gray man had somehow known the children's routines, had anticipated their rescue, and had orchestrated this entire nightmare from the shadows. Yet Titan stayed vigilant, growling, protecting Lila and the others. Liam breathed, steadying his shaking hands. He realized with grim determination that they could survive this, but only if they stayed smart, stayed calm, and trusted the dog's instincts as much as their own. They continued through the vent maze, each turn more treacherous than the last. Liam noticed small details the gray man had overlooked. An old fire alarm panel still active, a tiny maintenance hatch, a weak section of vent that could collapse if used correctly. Every clue, every shadow, could mean the difference between survival and tragedy. As the storm outside intensified, the sense of impending confrontation grew. Liam knew the gray man wasn't just watching. They were heading into a final reckoning. Titan's eyes glowed in the flashlight's beam, unwavering, determined. The dog's loyalty and instincts were their only true advantage in a maze of fear and deception. And somewhere above, hidden in the shadows, the gray man waited. The vent system seemed endless, but Liam Reyes knew they couldn't wander aimlessly. Titan led the way, senses razor-sharp, body taut with unspoken knowledge. Lila and the other children followed, their small hands clinging to each other, trembling with fear. The gray man's presence was like a suffocating fog, unseen but omnipresent, twisting through every shadow and echo. Liam paused at junction. "We have to split up," he whispered, voice tight with tension. "Titan and I will take the main shaft. The kids, you take the side vents and meet us at the stairwell exit." "No," Lila cried, fear piercing her voice. "I'm staying with Titan." Titan growled softly, nuzzling her cheek as if approving the choice. Liam swallowed, heart clenching. There was no time for argument. The children had to move. "Listen to me," he said gently. "It's the only way we get out safely." The children nodded reluctantly, moving along a narrower, side passage. Liam and Titan pressed forward into the main shaft. The air was thick with a metallic scent of rust and blood, and every vibration of the building seemed amplified in the tight metal corridors. Shadows shifted around them, figures darting just beyond the flashlight's reach, but Titan never hesitated, keeping his body between Liam and any unseen threat. They reached a larger vent, reinforced and partially hidden behind insulation panels. It hummed faintly with electricity. Liam's instinct screamed that this was a gray man's lair. He crouched, listening. The faint sound of breathing, deliberate and measured, echoed through the ducts. "Titan," Liam whispered. "Stay sharp." A shadow emerged from the far side of the chamber. The gray man, his face partially visible beneath the hood, pale and gaunt, eyes dark and calculating. In his hands, a small device, part surveillance, part control. The children. Liam realized with chilling clarity that the gray man had been orchestrating this in the start, using the vents not just for concealment, but to monitor every movement of anyone who dared enter. "You shouldn't be here," the gray man said, voice low, almost conversational. "You can't save them all." Titan growled, low and threatening, hackles raised. Liam stepped forward, fists clenched. "We're taking them out of here. All of them. You can't stop us." The gray man tilted his head. "Can I? Look around you. Every vent, every crawl space. I'm everywhere. And yet you persist. Fascinating." He lunged, fast and unpredictable. Titan snapped, meeting the gray man mid-strike, teeth clashing against metal and fabric. Liam tackled the man, adrenaline surging through him. They struggled in the cramped vent, metal scraping against metal. Titan bit, barked, and lunged, forcing the gray man back just long enough for Liam to regain control. Then came the twist, a metallic click. The gray man's device activated, releasing a small gas canister into the vent. Liam coughed, eyes watering. Titan barked frantically, sensing the danger. But before panic could consume him, a realization struck Liam. The gray man had relied on technology, but not instinct. Titan had instincts. Liam followed the dog's lead, guiding him toward the side hatch, just as the vent began filling with choking fumes. They burst through the hatch, emerging into the hidden maintenance area above the mall storage floor. The children were there, huddled but safe, their faces pale and frightened. Lila ran into Titan's side, tears flowing, clinging to the dog as if he were a lifeline. The gray man appeared at another vent opening, cornered, defeated but not without cunning. "You think this ends here?" he rasped. "I'm inevitable." Liam raised his voice, steady and resolute. "Not today. Not ever." Backup officers arrived, surrounding the maintenance area. The gray man had no escape. Handcuffs clicked, his gaze finally softening, not in fear, but in a twisted sort of admiration. He had found someone who could challenge him. The storm outside subsided, leaving the mall dripping and cold, but the immediate danger had passed. Titan's growls faded into gentle nudges, comforting Lila and the other children. Liam knelt beside them, voice calm but shaking from adrenaline. "You're safe now," he said. "All of you." Lila's small hand reached for his, gripping tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Titan, he saved us." Liam looked at the dog, who sat stoically, eyes bright with pride yet weary from the ordeal. "We all did," he said, and for a moment, the weight of the night lifted slightly, replaced by relief and the quiet satisfaction of survival. But the moral ambiguity lingered. The gray man wasn't insane. He was clever, calculating, and human in every dark sense of the word. Liam knew he'd haunt the town in whispers and nightmares for months to come, a reminder how close evil could lurk behind mundane walls. As officers led the gray man away, one of them muttered, "He's more than just a criminal. That's some next-level planning. How did he even—" Liam didn't answer. His attention was on Titan, nuzzling Lila, eyes scanning every shadow, still protective. The dog's loyalty, instincts, and courage had been the difference between life and death. Outside, the first hints of sunrise broke through the storm clouds, painting the town in muted gold. Hollow Ridge looked peaceful, almost normal, but Liam knew the memory of events, the gray man, and the children trapped in the shadows would linger in his mind for a long time. Lila finally spoke, voice small but firm. "Do you think he'll come back?" Liam shook his head. "Maybe, but you won't be alone. Not again. Titan and I, we've got your back." Titan barked softly, as if confirming the promise. Lila laughed lightly, the sound fragile but genuine, a flicker of hope in the aftermath of terror. The scene settled into quiet. The storm had passed. The children were safe, and the mall's rooftop, where the night had begun with tension and fear, now felt strangely still. Liam allowed himself a moment to breathe, to reflect on the bond forged in fire between a man, a dog, and the innocent lives they had saved. He knew Hollow Ridge would never truly be the same. Shadows lingered, memories haunted, and trust had been tested. But there was a hard, enduring truth. Courage often came in unexpected forms. Sometimes, it was a dog refusing to leave a rooftop, insisting on guarding something precious when everyone else might falter. Lila hugged Titan one last time, whispering a thank you, and Liam smiled softly. The vent system had been conquered, the gray man apprehended, and for now, Hollow Ridge could breathe again. Yet as they walked away from the maintenance area, Liam glanced at Titan, seeing in the dog's eyes a reminder that vigilance never truly ended. Evil could return, but so could courage, loyalty, and love. And that was enough for tonight. The story ends quietly but powerfully, with an emotional resolution, lingering tension, and a subtle lesson about trust, loyalty, and human darkness. The gray man is caught. The children are safe, but the sense of unease lingers, leaving a cinematic, haunting impression.